The final weeks of the war in Europe weren't just about victory, they were about revelation. As Allied forces pushed deeper into Germany, they didn't just defeat an enemy. They uncovered a system so methodical, so calculated, that even hardened commanders struggled to process what they were seeing. And in one moment, one decision, that reality forced General George S. Patton to act in a way that went far beyond battlefield tactics. Before we get into it, if you're into real, unfiltered history, the kind that goes deeper than textbooks, make sure you like this video, share it with someone who appreciates powerful stories, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. That's how we keep bringing you stories that actually matter. Now, let's get into it. As Third United States Army swept through Bavaria toward Austria in April 1945, something changed. This wasn't just another phase of the campaign. The pace was still aggressive, the objectives still clear, but the nature of what they were encountering began to shift. The camps, not just the infamous death complexes later exposed during the Nuremberg trials, but smaller, lesser-known facilities. Labour camps, transit camps, places built to extract everything from human beings until nothing was left. Veteran soldiers who had survived artillery barrages and armoured warfare found themselves shaken in ways combat had never achieved. Battle had rules, even in its chaos. What they found inside those camps had none. Then came the intelligence report. Roughly 40 miles ahead, there was a camp holding around 2,000 prisoners. Multiple sources confirmed it: escaped inmates, a local civilian, and aerial reconnaissance. But one detail turned it from a routine liberation into a race against time. The camp commander, an SS officer named Karl Dressel, had received orders. Orders that had already become a pattern in those final days of the collapsing Third Reich. The prisoners were not to be liberated. The camp was not to fall intact. Everything and everyone was to be erased. And, well, he hadn't carried them out. Not yet. That hesitation created a window, a small one. Patton didn't treat it like a standard operation. When he asked how long it would take to reach the camp, the first answer wasn't good enough. He pushed harder, faster, no delays, no margin for error. Then he made a decision that his own staff didn't expect. He sent a message directly to Dressel. Not a negotiation, not a request, a warning. Patton made it clear he knew everything: the camp, the prisoners, the orders. He made it clear that a relief column was already on its way. And then he reframed the situation in a way that cut through the collapsing chain of command. Every prisoner still alive when American forces arrived would count in Dressel's favour. Every dead prisoner would count against him. And the reckoning that followed, Patton promised, would be unavoidable and personal. He went further. He stripped away any illusion of protection, told him plainly that what had been happening in that camp wasn't war. It wasn't covered by the Geneva Convention. It was something else, and it would be judged accordingly. The message was short, direct, final. Then came the waiting. For hours, nothing. No confirmation, no updates. In the chaos of the final weeks of World War II, silence could mean anything. But in that moment, it felt like everything hinged on it. Then the report came in. The camp had been reached. The guards were gone. Dressel had disappeared. And the prisoners, nearly all of them, were still alive. 2,000 people who, by all expectations, should have been dead within hours. What stopped it? The approaching American column. The message. Or something inside a mid-level officer realizing the war was over and the consequences were about to begin. No one could say for certain. What mattered was the outcome. Patton didn't celebrate, he didn't pause. He immediately redirected medical teams, food supplies and logistical support, because survival was only the first step. These people needed to be brought back from the edge of death. Later, he wrote about it, not with pride, but with clarity. The message, the movement, the decision, all of it mattered less than one fact. They were alive. Dressel was captured days later and handed over for investigation as the Allies began the long process of documenting what had happened across Nazi-controlled Europe. Justice would come, but slowly, imperfectly, and never fully enough to match what had been done. For the prisoners, none of that mattered in that moment. They didn't know about the message. They didn't know about the calculation. They only knew that the gates opened. And sometimes that's the only part of history that really counts. If you want more stories like this, the ones that show how decisions in a single moment can change thousands of lives, make sure you subscribe, share this video, and stay tuned. There's a lot more history that deserves to be told the right way.